What is happening, Blades? And welcome back to the Blades Ramble. We are, of course, proudly sponsored by Action Coach Sheffield. If you have a growing business and you want to continue that growth, they are the people to speak to. And thank you to them for sponsoring this video and sponsoring the Ramble right through until the end of the year. So, first thing to address, the elephant in the room. I put out a statement on Twitter recently. Statement makes it sound even more formal than it needs to be, that I'm just going to take a little bit of a break from social media. Everybody knows it can be a toxic place from time to time. We are, I think, victims of our own success a little bit in terms of, look, I put myself out there on the internet and I give my opinions. And particularly I'm finding when things aren't going well at your club, it's so emotive to talk about the changes that you want to see, because that's always going to be a different opinion to somebody else. And that's absolutely fine. And we always encourage healthy debate. And I'd always want to go back and forth with anybody respectfully, because ultimately you might change my mind. What I'm never come on here saying is this is what needs to happen because it's a fact. We must sack Eki. That my opinion is that a new manager would get the best out of this team, more so than I believe Hecky will at the moment. Now, we got a Fulham and win. Call it flaky, but I may change my mind. So I don't apologise for my own opinion. I don't think anybody would expect me to. I will continue to give it. The rambles will continue despite my little social media hiatus. I'll still be jumping on X, which was Twitter. I'll still be jumping on there to post when the rambles are out, because I know a lot of people find it through that medium. But I'm not going to be scrolling through. I've turned all my notifications off. And in all honesty, the reason I've come off is not because people disagree with my opinion. There's never been an issue around that. I think, to be honest, it's a culmination of a lot of things. I took on an awful lot, probably over-egged it in terms of doing a ramble every day in September. It wasn't a chore, but it was hard, along working 10 hours a day in my real job, if you like. So that was difficult. I think, honestly, I was just a bit burnt out. And then I found myself snapping at people who were being disrespectful. And normally I let it wash over me when people are saying, you're absolutely laughable, you're a joke. This guy thinks he's this, that, and other. I don't think I'm anything. I think I'm a fan like rest of us. And I've got an opinion, as have you all got an opinion. And that's fine. So to everybody that sent me messages and good wishes and things of that nature, first of all, thank you so much for reaching out and caring. You know, we are a big advocate of speaking up here when you're struggling. And I think there's no secret. And I've spoken about it before. I am struggling a little bit mentally myself. It's not ramble related, if you like. I just think everything put together in the melting pot just got a little bit too much for me. And while I'm at a bit of a low ebb, I want to just look after me for a little bit. But I will continue to ramble because it's what I love to do. So this won't stop. It won't be daily. But thank you for everybody for reaching out. I'm just going to have a little pause on social media for a bit for my own well-being. And as I say, it's not, I don't want people to think that, oh, well, he's all right spouting his opinion and then he can't take any criticism. I don't mind people because it comes with the territory. Unfortunately, we're all working towards that being better, but it's not. And, I think we're naive to think that you're not going to get abuse for your opinion. Anyway, putting all that aside, we're here to talk about United, and ultimately, the chat should be fun. Whether you agree with me or not, we should all be able to come on here and have a laugh. You all know what I like to do in my videos. I like to chuck in funny what I believe to be like little funny anecdotes and clips and things like that wherever I can, and that won't stop either. I don't want it to be, oh, Jimmy's come on and we should all feel sorry for him. We all appreciate the content, but hope he's okay. I'm all right. I want everybody to know I am all right, and even if I'm not all right, I'm doing the right things to try and get all right again. So thank you, and if I do need you, I know those of you that have reached out genuinely mean that you're here for an ear, and I appreciate that. But I've got a great network around me. I will be absolutely fine. It is nowhere near as low as I have been in the past. It's just, I think I took on a little bit too much. It didn't help that I came off my meds cold turkey, did it? More for me. So moving on, what I wanted to talk about today, I think is really important. And I suppose it encapsulates everything that we're all trying to do as fans at the minute. And I've titled the video Perspective. It is so important that fans across the board, blades everywhere, have a little, or try and get a little bit of perspective as to what's happening at our club. I think I had that until Newcastle. Newcastle completely threw me. And from there, and somebody rightly pointed out, Jimmy, before the Newcastle drubbing, you released a video saying, "In Hecky we trust." I did put that video out. It's there for everybody to see. And it's a bit of a slap back to me to say, are you being hypocritical? Maybe, but I can only come on and give you my honest opinions live as and when I feel it. And that threw me in terms of shot my confidence at the time in the manager and some of the players. And I still have question marks over the players and the manager as well. But what we have to try and do is have a little bit of perspective. So everybody coming on and talking about, well, Jimmy, look what he's done previously to get us here. Completely understand that. The Prince hasn't backed him with finances. Completely understand that take as well. So much as everybody thinks I don't criticise the Prince or the board because I've got an interview coming up in January. My whole channel is built on being authentic. I can only tell you how I honestly feel. Whether there is subconscious bias towards the Prince because, he's given me the time of day essentially and agreed to come on the channel, may be in play. I'm not naive enough to think that if I come on here and absolutely slate the Prince, then he might have second thoughts about coming on the channel. But I genuinely don't think the Prince is the main one at fault. Forgive me for having that opinion. I don't think he's faultless at all. Again, I'm a bit of an advocate for a change, but let's get back on track. We're on about perspective here, aren't we? Hecky has brought us up to the Premier League, is now on a limited budget, whatever the circumstances are, whether that's the Prince's fault, whether that's the long-term vision of the club, we knew we were on a limited budget. We originally started trying to build for the future in terms of the transfer strategy, brought in players that, let's be right, Only Slimani really looks like he could have an impact at Premier League level this season, and that may be minimal. So it wasn't really a strategy that give us much confidence in terms of going for it in the Premier League. But I don't think the club made any secrets of that. We're looking to safeguard our future as a club. And as a fan base, it's hard, particularly when you're going through difficult results, but we have to remain focused on what the overall aim of the football club is. So if we're looking at what's the club going to look like in 5 years' time rather than just this season, the strategy works in that regard. The one thing that I really think will help with perspective is, I'm going to call it an ifs and buts league table. So I've done a little bit of working out and what have you. We have been very unlucky in some games this season. Now, you could say it's luck. Some may say it's lack of concentration, which could be led back to fitness in the team, sort of mentally tired as much as anything else. There'll be a plethora of reasons that people have got for it. Some will just say we haven't got the quality. But what I've done is I've worked out the league table if those fine margins had gone in our favour. So we're looking at this famous bottom six. And at the minute, obviously, I'm recording this before the Luton Burnley game. I'm recording this before the Fulham Chelsea game. So this will change a little bit over the next couple of days. But have a look at this league table. This is where we are now currently. Day one against Palace, the team we had was appalling and we deserved to get beat. So I'm not counting that in terms of a fine margin and if we'd have kept Palace out and all this sort of thing. Forest, I thought we turned up. Despite not having all of our summer business done at that time, we gave Forest a great game with what we had. And Hamer scoring a fantastic goal on his debut. If we'd held out and not conceded in the last minute to Chris Wood, we'd have an extra point and we'd be off the bottom of the table now. So that doesn't look as bad, does it? Then if you roll on to the Everton game, because I think we were fairly beaten by City despite putting up a very good fight, I don't think there was a a point in that game where you say, well, if you take out the Haaland goal, you could do this with everything. But what I'm talking about are these sort of game-changing moments, if you like, that could have been prevented. So you roll on to Everton, and Cameron Archer gets his double. Let's be right. That's the way I would determine it. Obviously, there's a Pickford own goal in there, but Pickford makes an unbelievable save, absolutely unbelievable save, and then drops lucky with the rebound from Ollie McBurney. If that had been 3-2, and we'd have beaten Everton by scoring in the last minute, potentially this whole season looks different. So look at the table now. So we take that point off Everton's total, which moves them down, moves us out of the relegation zone, and we'd be on 4 points for the draw against Forest and the win against Everton. Puts it into perspective, doesn't it, a little bit? And the last one I'm going to touch on is, of course, Tottenham away, where I thought we were very, very good for the majority of the game. Not because we dominated the game. We were never expected to. We never expected to turn up and win. We'd have been lucky to get a point. But as it stood, going into the 96th minute, we're winning. So if normal added time had been taken into consideration, we'd have won that game. So look at how the table would have looked if we'd have held out against Tottenham. So just taking those 3 results into true perspective of what maybe should have been if it weren't for the fine margins, you can even keep your 8-0 in there. You can keep losing at West Ham. But I also think, should we be sat on those 7 points in 15th in the league, we wouldn't have got beat 8-0. I genuinely think that, because the margins are swinging in our favour then. I'm not saying we'd have gone to West Ham and beat them either, but I just think this, and to be honest, sitting down and doing this, working it out, where would we be if we'd have just got the rub of the green on this, or the right decision here or there? And it's an eye-opener, really. And if those had happened, and they didn't, and we are where we are, we're bottom of the league, we've got the worst goal difference in the league, we've only got 1 point from 7 games, but this is where we could have been in the sliding doors moments in games. And if we were there, or even if we'd have got the win over Tottenham and we're 18th now, or whatever it works out to be, are we still saying we need a change? And that's reflective for me. And that's me getting some perspective, because I'm not sure we are. I'm not sure we're saying that. So I've had a little bit of time to reflect, a little bit of time to gain some perspective on it. And I don't think it's as bad as it actually looks. And we've said before, a lot of people think that we're at our best when people write us off. The only danger, I think, at the moment is we pick up a bit of a loser's mentality. You know, against Newcastle, the most disappointing thing for me was the capitulation, the heads down, the lack of fight. I think at West Ham we were second best for the majority of the game. I think we only came into it when they were comfortable at 2-0 and sort of took their foot off the gas a little bit. We need to get our mojo back in terms of recognising, if it weren't for those small margins, we would be well in this. And we still are. Look, a win could take us out of the relegation zone. Look, as I say, I'm doing this before all the teams are on the same number of games as us. But a win at Fulham, which is not out of the realms of possibility, despite our run of results so far, a win at Fulham changes everything. And we go into the international break with a new belief. So I'll do a proper Fulham preview close to the time, but I just thought it was really important while I was thinking about it to come on and discuss. So let me know what you think. Does that sort of change your mindset a little bit? I'm hoping so, because we need to be positive, don't we? What does sitting around and moping about how rubbish we are all the time and we need a change? It looks like we're sticking with Hecky, certainly for the time being. And if that is the case, then we back the club, don't we? And this may be determined as me being flippy-floppy or whatever it might be. Ultimately, he's here, and he's been very unlucky in the way some of the games have swung. So while ever he is here, we're going to back him, and I will back him. And I think he can turn a few people around at Fulham with a result. So it's interesting to think, isn't it? What might have been or where we could have been. Let's stop those sliding door moments. Let's give that extra 5%. Make those 50-50 decisions. And I don't mean referee decisions. I mean rub of the green. Make them go in our favour for once. Give that extra level of effort so that we're not conceding in the last minute of a game. Just concentrate for the full 90 or full 105 if you're talking about Spurs away. And we're not that far away. I don't think the squad depth's there. That's a different conversation. But I think we've enough quality in our first 11 to give this a go, this league. Let me know what you think. I'm really keen to hear, and I hope it's giving you a different slant on things. I will be back later in the week. Thanks again for your support. It's not lost on me. It means an awful lot. And I think the community that we're building here, whether you're a sponsor, a Rambler, or just a subscriber, is unbelievable. And the support I've had is unreal. But again, please don't worry about me. I will be absolutely fine. I just need to decompress for a little bit, that's all. But I'll still come on and ramble because it's what I love to do, isn't it? So if you want to subscribe, if you enjoy what we do, then please do subscribe to the Ramble. We have lost a few, actually. I don't know whether that's due to my controversial views, but I'll continue to be honest. I'd rather run that risk of losing people that don't agree just to continue being authentic. If you want to really support the channel, then you could become a Rambler for $2.99 a month. There you'll get access to exclusive content, early content. This is going out to the Ramblers first. I'm also going to be doing a regular live stream just for Ramblers going forward because I want them to know just how appreciative I am of their support. So I'll try and put the links below for that. There's also links down there for the to vote at the FCAs. We are up for Best New Content Creator at the Football Content Awards. Still absolutely mind blown by that. Some could say it's unbelievable.
Hi, it's Cammy Chris Kamara. As some of you know already, Jim Smith, who is the man behind the podcast, The Blades Ramble, he's a pal of mine, and he's been nominated for an award. Hey, well done, Jimbo, at the Football Content Awards. If you would like to vote for Jim and his weekly ramblings, vote now for the Blades Ramble in the Best New Content Creator category. Do it now!
Only a week left of that video. But listen, if you get a superstar like Cammy on your channel, then you've got to utilize it, haven't you? Utilize a video like that. So thank you again for watching. It's very much appreciated. Come on, you red and white wizards. Up the blades.
Hey, well done, Jimbo. Ramble!